Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Double O.T. We just made it through 4 quarters. I assisted John Roder in the corner for a three, sending us to Double O.T. And we are back in Double O.T. And what a wonderful time to be back. And now I'm not joined by John Roder today. I'm actually going solo dolo for this one. I am your host, Riley. If you're new here, welcome. We do a lot of great sports talk around here, and we're excited to get right into it with our first official NBA episode of the season. I'm an NBA guy. I actually was just getting shots up about 30 minutes ago. I'm a big basketball player. NBA is my sport. It's more my expertise than football, though I'm big on football. But this is where my strong suit is, and I'm so excited for the season. And yes, I'm sorry I'm a little late. The upload schedule has been crazy recently. Trying to get a lot of episodes done. We have a lot of episodes in the works. We have a lot going on. So on the podcast side, it's been slow. If you're tuning in on Apple, if you're tuning in on YouTube, or you're watching the full episodes, it's been slow. But we've been doing great work with our Felix, our social media manager. We've been getting so much out on TikTok, so much out on YouTube, and so much out on Instagram. So if you don't follow our Instagram and our TikTok especially, go give them a follow. It's Double O.T. Double O.T. Same thing on every platform. That's just type that in. It'll pop up on TikTok and Instagram. On both of those, we do our score predictions on Instagram for every primetime game. For football, we do clips. We do takes. If you want to see chopped up stuff, we do with visuals. It's on all of that on the Instagram, on the TikTok. It's great what we're doing over there. Shout out to Felix. He's doing great stuff. So if you're missing stuff on the Apple, you're missing our full length videos that are kind of slow. We apologize. Upload schedule has been slow, but we have a lot of football coming up, and I have a lot of basketball videos that are in the process of being edited and will be out soon, back to back to back. I'm doing conspiracy. I'm going to do some draft videos. I'm going to do some what ifs. I'm going to do some just videos about stuff I want to talk about. It doesn't even have to do with the modern game of basketball. But today, it would only be right that we start off the season with a record prediction video. We're going to rank all 35 teams in the NBA. We're going to go conference by conference, and we're just going to rank them 15-1, 15-1. We're going to give our predictions. I'm going to give my early championship predictions, my early MVP predictions. We're going to do a bunch of predictions to begin the season. And obviously, I'm a little late. The season, we're about 3 or 4 games in. So, we are about 3 or 4 games into the season at the time of me recording this. But if I'm being honest, none of the things that's happened so far to start the season is changing my opinion on where these teams are going to land. So nothing's really changed for me. It's all kind of going as expected. So, we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the West, and we're going to move on up. I'm going to try and make it quick because I could talk about this for 3 hours. So I'm going to try and do my best to condense it, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get right into it. I'm excited to talk NBA, and I'm solo today, but that's not going to be like that for long. We got a lot coming up, but let's just get right into it. With our record predictions, we're going to start with the Western Conference, and at number 15, I got the San Antonio Spurs, and now the San Antonio Spurs are in the tier that we like to call Victor Wembanyama. That's their tier. The Spurs, they need a star. It's been a while since they've had one. It's been since Duncan. DeMar was kind of there and kind of wasted some years of his career. They've been irrelevant the last couple of years. They've been floating in that no man's land range of the league where they've been like a playing team every year. They just get to the playoffs, but they get swept in the first round. They have not very good draft picks, but not much playoff success. Ever since Kawhi left, it's been a rough patch for them. So the Spurs at 15, they don't have any star talent. They just clearly are in the interest of blowing it up. They just traded DeJounte. They got Jeremy Sohan over there. I really like their draft. I really like who they brought in. I expect a big year from Keldon Johnson and all the boys over there in San Antonio. But they don't have a single piece that's gonna win them games consistently. And they're rebuilding. They got a lot of rookies, a lot of young talent, and they're in rebuild mode. And they're rebuilding at the right time because they want that number 1 pick, and they're going to be in high contention for it. They're going to be abysmal this year. They're not going to win many games at all. And Popovich is on his way out too. So Spurs fits soundly at 15, and right there at 14 and 13, we have the 2 teams I feel like they've been taking for a long time. More so, number 14, we have the Thunder. So now they're in another tank here as they just took Chet Holmgren, the number 2 pick, and he's out for the year. So we're not going to see anything from him. You only expect Shai's numbers to go up. Shai's going to be averaging about 25 a game this year, I predict. He's going to be an all-star. He's going to have a great year, and so is Giddey. Giddey's going to take a leap. I love all the other guys they drafted in the draft except Chet. I think they're really going to make an impact. If we're looking at the Thunder's roster, they have so much young talent. You still got Lou Dort over there that you recently signed to a pretty nice extension. But if you're just looking at the landscape of your team right now, especially the fact that they're in the West, is what's going to kill them. They don't have the pieces to win games yet. I really loved Ousmane Dieng. That was the pick that I really liked for them. They got so many picks. They got to start taking guys to rebuild their team. He's a 19-year-old 6'9" wing who can really light it up. I love that pick. Chet is obviously out. You still got Trey Mann. You still have Josh Giddey. You got Lou Dort. You got Bates. You got your star and Shea. And you have a lot of pieces. You got Jalen Williams. Both Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams and Jalen Williams. The one from Arkansas, that was a nice second round pick for them, and Jalen Williams in the first round. They have a lot of pieces, and I'm excited for them to evolve. But they're going to be in contention again for number one pick. I hope they don't get the number one pick because I just feel like they've had high draft picks forever now. But but yeah, the 14 is going to be the Thunder, and right ahead of them at 13 is going to be the Rockets, who also had a very impressive draft as well, taking Jabari Smith with the number 2 pick. I'm the number 3 pick, excuse me. That was obviously the consensus choice for them, and they're rebuilding. They had the number 2 pick last year. They took Jalen Green. Now they got their duo. They got Jalen Green. They got Jabari Smith. They paired up 2 future stars, and I really do like Jabari Smith, although I felt he was not superior to Paulo Banchero in that draft. But I really like Jabari Smith. The shot creating that he brings, the knockdown shot, he fits perfectly into the modern NBA. Jalen Green is going to be your go out there, score 25 a point guard player, and you just re-signed Kevin Porter Jr. You got a lot of pieces over there in Houston, and I think Houston, they're going to start winning more games. They're not going to be a joke like they were last year, but they're still rebuilding, and it's going to take time for them. They're not the Thunder. They just took the guy's second pick and he got hurt. They have all the pieces. The pieces aren't ready yet. But I like the Rockets. I like what they're building. They've been, they just lost Harden. Harden left them like 2 years ago, so they're still in rebuild mode. It's been, they blew up their team only a year or two ago, so they're still in the process of a rebuild. So you don't expect much from them. And at number 12, I got the Kings. The Kings are not in as good of a boat as any of the teams I just mentioned because these teams have, future promising. And I'm not saying the Kings don't. You still have a 25-year-old De'Aaron Fox on a nice contract. And you just took Keegan Murray. And obviously they took Keegan Murray over the upside of Jaden Ivey. And I obviously understand the pick. You just took Davion Mitchell in the last draft, who's a guard. And you have De'Aaron Fox, who's in his prime on a big deal. So now you're going to take another 6-foot something guard, like 6'2" guard. So Keegan Murray is probably was not a bad choice for the Kings team, and they're trying to win now because they traded for Sabonis last year. So now they have a Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. They're the first team on this list that has like legitimate, solidified players that are all-star caliber. I'm pretty sure Sabonis is a 2-time all-star, and De'Aaron Fox is probably the best player on that team. And now you take Keegan Murray, who's a more win-now player, and he showed it in the summer league. He can really go out there and score. It's just a shame that if Jaden Ivey has a better career than Keegan Murray, he's always going to be labeled as a bust. But Keegan Murray is not someone to play around with. He's going to be very good in this league. And, he's more of a win now forward. Now you got him. You pair him up with Fox and Sabonis. And you got some pieces over there. And obviously you have Davion Mitchell, who's only going to get better. And a couple other young pieces. They're not an old team. You got Harrison Barnes, who's another guy who will be a steady scorer for them. He's probably one of the older players at like 30. But the Kings are just especially in the West. Like maybe if the Kings were in the East, I'd say they're a playoff team. If the Kings were in the East, they're a playoff team. Or at least play in. In the West, they're not even in the play-in, and it's a shame. They're trying to win now, but their team is just not win now ready. It's not. They're going to be in no man's land this year. And hear me out. I know it's crazy, and you're gonna think that this is biased just about all the first 4 games. I got the Jazz at number 11, and the Jazz are trying to rebuild, but I just kind of like the Jazz's roster. Like I really like. They're not going to go out there and upset a team in the playoffs. They're not even going to make the play-in, but their roster is not bad, and they're going to have some guys that are going to be scoring and some guys that are going to show out now on a bad team. And I just think they're going to win games. I think the Jazz are just a team that's going to win games. There's teams out there that we know aren't serious in the playoffs, but they go out there and they win regular season games, and that's what I think the Jazz are going to be. You got Ochai Baggi, you got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you got young piece. You just got to buy in the trade. Colin Sexton's going to be a guy that goes out there. He's your starting point guard. He's going to put up numbers. You just acquired him. You got Lauri Markkanen, who's another guy that in a bigger role could score the basketball well. You got THT. You got Mike Conley, who's still a veteran point guard who can go out there and score the ball as well. You just got young Walter Kessler from Auburn. You got Jared Vanderbilt. You got some nice pieces. And I really like the Jazz to go out there and scrape together some wins this year and not be a playoff team, but not be a joke. They're going to go out there. They're going to win games, some big games. They're going to be a team that's going to upset teams. So they'll be right there with the Kings. And the Kings, they could switch. I won't be surprised if the Kings have a better record. The Kings should have a better record. But I just like the Jazz, win some games this year. And I don't expect them to have a playoff year. And maybe they could honestly just finish with the 15th seed, and then I'll just take that L. But I'm confident that they'll be like 11. And at number 10, we have my team. Well, my guy, the Lakers. I'm a LeBron fan, big LeBron fans. We learned LeBron, Giants, Yankees. And we'll credit the Yankees. I shouldn't honestly be crediting the Yankees at all. They were terrible, but have them in the back. But LeBron and the Lakers at 10, it's clear that Westbrook is just so abysmal, and that team just has no chemistry. Their shooting is horrible. We knew going into the year they have no one that can shoot the ball. I mean, your starting backcourt is Pat Beverly and Russell Westbrook, the two most abysmal shooters on the planet. You got Anthony Davis, who's is only bound to get hurt, and you lose your confidence after him. And I'm so confident that when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in this league, and I will never I always will back up AD. I'm such a believer in him, but he's not going to stay on the court. And LeBron is only aging, and LeBron's obviously defense is going down. He's on the injury watch as well, and it's just clear that LeBron's not in that point in his career anymore where he could drag bag teams to winning records and make noise. He's not in that. He can go out there and score. If LeBron's on a good team, he can go out there and score, and he will still could score at the highest level. But LeBron and play make at the highest level, but he's not. He's past the point in his career like 2018 and 2007 where he's taken guys who are just terrible to the playoffs and winning records. Like, it's not happening. And this team is better than the 2018 Cavs. He has Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is not going to be on the court. And Darvin Ham, his first year as a head coach, there's just clear issues within the team. They can't shoot the ball. They can't compete with good teams. They didn't do it all last year. Their team didn't get better. And now this year and what's terrible for them, they're in no man's land because this year they don't want to trade those picks. But now this year they're going to suck and they're just going to waste another year of AD. They're going to waste another year of LeBron, and it's just going to be a year. Probably, I'm hoping a little bit better than last year, but honestly, maybe worse. And you're going to have maybe at least you'll get a nice pick, but that pick doesn't even belong to them. It's going to the Pelicans. So the Lakers are just this going to be. If you're a Lakers fan like myself, you just got to put your head down and just wait it out. You're going to have to do what we had to do in 2013. Just wait it out because this year is going to be a tough one, especially since we're going to be terrible and they're going to get no pick. And I'm honestly being generous at number 10 for the Lakers. And at number 9, we have a team that didn't get better and they still have a very nice star player. But, they would be a playoff team in any other in the East, but in the West, they're going to be just short of the playoffs at number 9. But they're going to make the play-in, though, and they're going to win some games. I got the Trailblazers led by Damian Lillard, and now you bring in Jeremiah Grant. You got Anthony Simons, who I really like, who can go out there and get a bucket. And you pair him with Shaedon Sharpe, the number 7 pick in the draft. I like that you got Nurkic as well. You still got those pieces that can win you games. And I like the Blazers roster. I like the moves they made this offseason. They can spread the floor. They can shoot it. Their Blazers are a team that always goes out there and wins games. They always are in the playoff. They're always contending. They never go out. That's their culture over there in Portland. That's Dame's culture. They're not going to go out easy. Dame's going to go out there and do his thing. And he's got pieces around him. And we'll see what these young guys like Simons and Shaedon Sharpe can do as they can step up. And, you got Jeremiah Grant. You got Nurkic. And I like the Blazers. I think they're a solid 9 seed. And they're not another team that you don't want to take lightly. But now we're entering the top 8, the playoff teams. And what's crazy is that number 8 is a team that, on paper, really should have a great year and you think would be higher. And if they were in the East, they'd be really high. But in the West, they're number 8. There's just so many good teams in the West. I got the Timberwolves. And you're expecting Anthony Edwards to just take that leap, just to become like a star in this league. And I believe he will. Karl Towns is already a star in this league. Rudy Gobert, hate him or not, with his whole perimeter defense, can't shoot. They gave up too much. You cannot take away the impact he has on the defensive end of the ball. He's one of the best defensive players we've ever seen in this league. He's a 3-time defensive player of the year. And I like Cat the 4. I don't think it's going to lead to playoff success. I don't. And I think that, they're going to be an 8-7 seed. They're going to match up with a team like the Clippers or the Warriors, and they're not going to beat them. So I do think that the Timberwolves, experiment. It's going to, they're going to finally – but I don't blame the Timberwolves. You're a franchise that hasn't won anything ever. You've been terrible for decades now, and you finally got a chance to, just have a good team for once, and you took it. And I don't blame them. Sometimes you just got to take your chance. You're sick of being terrible. And I'm sure they were sick of being abysmal. They've been terrible for so long, and they said, what, we're done with this tanking. We're done being terrible. We're done waiting. We're going to go out there and we're going to get it. And they did, and they traded for a legitimate star in Gobert. And I don't think they're going to, the West is just too good. But I really think they're going to be good, and they could, they could surprise me and be like a 5-4 seed, and I wouldn't be surprised. Anthony Edwards is a 1. He's a 1 in this league. He's going to be elite. So is Karl Towns, and I like Karl Towns at the 4. I think that front court is going to win you games in the playoffs. I mean, in the regular season, but not in the playoffs. And you have other pieces. You got D'Angelo Russell, who could just go out there and score 20, and if he's hot, and you got you got Kyle Anderson. You still got Josh McDaniels or Jay McDaniels, whatever his name is. He's a versatile wing defender. He can shoot the ball too. I like what the Timberwolves have. I do, and I would like them as a team. It's just the West is so loaded. And another team at 7 that's right above them is another team that I really like that took big strides and could surprise me as well. It's just a product of being in the West. I have the Pelicans, and I think Zion is going to have a better season than I said Anthony Edwards has. He's going to tell everyone he's here, and he's going to bully his way to 25 a game. And I love Zion, and he will remind us why he was the number 1 pick. And now you got CJ McCollum, who's solidified, who finally maybe will get his credit and be a first-time All-Star. It's crazy to me that he hasn't been an All-Star yet. And Also, Herb Jones is gonna take a leap. He's my pick. He might be my pick for defensive player of the year. Like the plays that he makes on defense with his length, I don't know if anyone else can make it in the league. And it's crazy to me that he fell to the second round last year. And you got Valanciunas, who's always been a solid above average center, and you have Brandon Ingram, who's gonna be an all-star again, and is a guy that can go out and score 30 in his sleep. Brandon Ingram is arriving. He's arrived last year, and he's gonna arrive this year. Alvarado off the bench. You got pieces off the bench. I like the Pelicans. I do. Have a legitimate starting lineup. I just think they're not proven, and I'm not as confident in them. I have to see like these 8 and 7. They on paper they are better than some of these teams. I'm just not confident in them yet. We haven't seen it from them. That's why at 6, I'm gonna put a team that may not be as good as the Pelicans. Honestly, they're probably not nearly as good as the Pelicans on paper, but we know they're gonna go out there and get it done. And it's the Suns. And the Suns are another team that, no matter how much you want to, their lineup, from last year, they were the 1 seed last year. They're the best record in the NBA, but they're going to go out there and win games. And I'm still confident that they're going to go out there and win games. Devin Booker's a star, and Chris Paul is going to take a step back. I believe, last year was rough for him, but he's still Chris Paul. He's still the leader of that team. Ayton is what I'm nervous about. Ayton, they match his contract. It's so obvious he doesn't want to be there. He's been miserable there. I don't expect him to have a big strategy. I'm waiting for Ayton's a number 1 pick. He's a number 1 pick in 2018. He's very talented. And I'm waiting for him to just have that season where he just is so dominant, and I know he can do it, but I mean he's not doing it over there. It's almost like he doesn't want to be there. I have that feeling, and it's going to turn into a disaster with him. He's going to get traded eventually, and you still got Mikal Bridges, another guy who can win the Defensive Player of the Year this year, and you got the same squad. It's the same squad over there, and I think the Suns aren't going to fall off from being like some people are thinking they're going to go from being the 1 seed to not missing missing the playoffs. Like they're still the same team. They're going to win games. Everyone got better, and they didn't really get better. They're still the same team, but they're still good. Like the Suns are still good. They're going to win games, and they're going to beat good teams. And they could another team that won't surprise me if they do what they did again last year. And then at 5, I have the Dallas Mavericks, who beat the Suns last year. We all remember it. Dallas Mavericks are here, and yes, Luka is my pick to win the MVP, as well as a lot of people's picks. Luka is just that guy. And you have Christian. You lose Brunson, you replace him with Christian Wood. They got Christian Wood coming off the bench right now, but as another guy who would score. You replace a scorer with a scorer, and you still got Dorian Finney-Smith. You got Dinwiddie. You got all your guys over there that are going to. You got the same supporting guys, and you got Luka, and you got Kleba. It's those guys. It's the Dallas Mavericks. You replace Brunson with Christian Wood. It's like, it is what it is. But I think Brunson's probably better than Christian Wood, but I think Luka is just going to be. It's just going to be Luka, and you got still guys over there that can score, and they got a nice team. They're well coached, and the Mavericks they're going to be solid. They're 5. They never were the best regular season team, and I don't think they're going to be like a 1 seed or anything. But they're going to be good in the playoffs, and I still think even at the 5 seed they can do what they did last year and beat anyone and make it to the conference finals. So I really like the Mavericks. And now at number 4, I have. At number 4, I have. Excuse me, my mic cut off. At number 4, I got the Denver Nuggets, another team that I actually wanted to put at my number 1 seed, but I didn't because I didn't put them at number 1 seed. I don't think they're going to be quite there. Oh, no. Excuse me. At number 4, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. Excuse me. I messed that one up. At number 4, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I was looking at number 3 is the Nuggets, so we'll just talk about both of them. And yes, I'm confident in the Grizzlies to be the 4 seed. And again, I don't like the Grizzlies. And if I'm being real, I think the Pelicans are better than the Grizzlies. If we're looking at roster-wise, I think the Grizzlies are like number 7. But they're going to win regular season games. They did it last year. Even without John Morant, they won. They were like 15-2. So I have confidence in the Grizzlies to win games this year, though, because if you're just looking at their team, they have guys that go out there and win games. You still have a very good roster. You have Ja, you have Desmond Bane, you have Jaren Jackson. And last year, they got the job done, and they're a gritty team, and they don't go out, and they're gonna win games. I know they're gonna win games, and that's just where I have confidence in them. I don't have confidence in them in the playoffs at all. I don't think they're gonna be serious in the playoffs, but they're gonna win regular season games. They're going to. That's just their culture. That's just the culture of that team. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with my mic. Okay, I think we're good now, and that's just the culture of the Grizzlies. And as much as I don't really like the roster, and I think Ja's overrated, they're going to win regular season games. That's why I have them at number 4. And at number 3, I have the Nuggets. The Nuggets were the 6th seed last year. They have the back-to-back MVP, and they were the number 6 seed last year without their second and third best player. Just shows how good Jokic is. And now you have Jamal Murray there. We know how good that duo is. They're going to be consistent. And now you got Michael Porter Jr., who's the X factor for them as the third piece, who got paid and could go out there and score 20 on any given night. And you have all those other guys, Aaron Gordon, Monte Moore. I don't know if Monte Morris is still there. Capazzo, all those dudes over there in Denver, and Mike Malone. I love Denver, and I think they're here. Denver is here. They're a legitimate team. They lost to the Lakers in the bubble. Then in 2021, they made it to the conference final. And they lost in the semis to the Suns. Then, they dealt with injuries. But Jokic is here. He's a back-to-back MVP. He's going to be in the conversation again. He's not going anywhere. And the Nuggets, they've always been good in the regular season. They're there. They're steady. And at 2-1, I have the Warriors at 2, and I have the Clippers at 1. I think the Clippers are the best team in the Western Conference. I think we're going to remember that when Kawhi Leonard comes back and he's playing, he's a top 5 player in this league, maybe even top 3. That's how confident I am in Kawhi Leonard. And everyone forgets about Kawhi Leonard. He's not flashy. He's hurt all the time. He load manages. That's why people love to gas how other guys are better. Like the fact that people think John Morant is better than Kawhi Leonard. Are we serious right now? It's not even close. Kawhi Leonard's going to cement himself as a top 5 player this year. Paul George is top 15. They're well coached. And they had 10 guys. They have 5 guys on the bench that could start on any team. They have dudes on their bench that would start on other teams. If you look at the starting 5, they're probably going to run with John Wall, Paul George, Kawhi, Zubac, and Marcus Morris. And then off the bench, you got Trey Mann, Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum, Norman Powell, Luke Kennard. Like, that's 5 guys that could legitimately start on any other team. They are so deep. They have a top 5 player. They have a top 5 player and a top 15 player. They're the deepest team in the league, and they have one of the best coaches in the league. I love the Clippers, and they're here. They're here. They've obviously had their ups and downs ever since they were assembled, but this is their year. This is their year. This is the Clippers' year. Give me the Clippers to be the best team in the West. And and then at number 2, I got the Warriors, and then we'll talk about the Warriors. I mean, it's the Warriors. There's not much to say. They won the championship last year. Obviously the Draymond thing might be a conflict, but you got Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, now Wiseman. You got Wiseman replacing Kevon Looney. Wiseman, number 2 pick, very talented 7-footer. If he just stays healthy and just stays on the court, now you replace Kevon Looney with a number 2 pick, a guy who's just way better than Kevon Looney. And you got Kuminga, who's only getting better off the bench. Moody, it's just crazy. The Warriors are so good. They're so good. Steph Curry's going to be an MVP, top 3 in the MVP again. Jordan Poole's only going to get better. Wiggins is only going to get better. Clay's only going to get better. Draymond's just Draymond. And now you got 3 young guys who are just going to get better. The Warriors are probably going to be better than they were last year, and they can just win the championship again, if I'm being honest. Give me the Warriors to be the number 2, and they can be number 1, and they're just so good. They're just so good, and they're going to be so good for a long time. Those guys are never going away, but that's the West, and it's going to be ultra competitive. And what's awesome about the West is that, I got the team I have at 7 could be the number 1, and it wouldn't surprise me. That's why it's like the AFC. That's how I felt about the AFC going into this year. That there's so many good teams, and now obviously the AFC is more one-sided than I thought it would be. But that's how I feel about this Western Conference. It's going to be loaded, and there's going to be so many teams that are going to compete. And that the playoffs in the West is going to be so electric. And the East is less of that, but even the East has a lot of good teams, and we're going to get right into it. Starting at number 15, the Pacers. Halliburton's the best player. They're hoping to evolve him. They're on full rebuild mode. Miles Turner's on the trade block. Buddy Hield's on the trade block. Those guys are going to get moved eventually. They're trying to rebuild. The Pacers are having they have the most abysmal roster. They're just not going to win games. They're trying to tank. Give me the Pacers at 15. At 14 and 13, I have this is the equivalent of Thunder Rockets. I have Magic Pistons. Both got better. Both had great drafts. Pistons acquired Duran and Jaden Ivey. Now you have one of the best, probably the best young backcourt in the league. I mean, Cade and Ivey are going to be great for years to come. Ivey was, honestly, I think he's going to be top 3 rookie of the year. I think he might be 2, right behind Paolo on the Magic. And they have a great backcourt. They got Duran, they got Sadiq Bey, they got Isaiah Stewart, great pieces. They're going to improve, they got to take time. There are a lot of young guys. So they're in the same boat as Houston, where Magic's in this kind of like the Thunder. The Magic are going to be good. And if you look at the Magic, they have so many young guys. Paolo is showing he's number 1 pick. He is so good. He's going to be an MVP of this league one day. He is so good. A 6'8", 200-something, just beast who could shoot it. He could score however he could pull from mid-range. He can get in the post. He could just He can dunk on you. He can lay on you. He could pull from three. He could defend any position. He's a dog. I love Paolo, and he's going to be rookie of the year for sure. And then you got Cole Anthony. You got Jalen Suggs, who's also like in his first game looked very good, and he's another guy, 6'6" point guard who could defend any position on the wing. He's lengthy. He's really athletic. He can shoot. He can get to the basket. He can play make. I love Jalen Suggs last year. He had a little slow rookie season, but he's only going to get better. People are forgetting about him. And you got Franz Wagner, who was a lottery pick for them, behind Jalen Suggs, but played better than Jalen Suggs. Tall, like 6'9", 6'10", small forward who can just get a bucket. Those two guys are really good with Banchero. That's a really dangerous young big three. And you got Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, R.J. Hampton, Jonathan Isaac. They got a lot of young guys. Watch out for the Magic. If they can get those pieces to mesh and they can get those pieces to evolve together, they're going to be nice. Watch out. At 12, I got the Hornets. They're more come along than both those teams. I'm not as confident in them. They're going to slide down. Like, LaMelo's going to have one of those years that it's going to be LaMelo's team, and he's going to be an all-star, and he's going to have a great year. And, you lose Trez Harrell is gone. You lose Miles Bridges, who was your second-best player. He's going to jail. You lose him. He's ridiculous. And now you got, like, Book Knight didn't look good this year. I don't have much confidence in him. And you still got like some dudes. You still got PJ Washington. You still got Rozier. You got some guys over there that could. You drafted what's the Williams? The Williams from Duke, number 15, the center. He's gonna be a nice addition for you, but I don't. If you're a Charlotte fan, I think this should be a year of mediocrity, and you're gonna not be the worst team, but you're not even gonna make the play-in. And at 11, I got the Wizards because the Wizards are the first team on this list that has a legitimate solidified star in Bradley Beal. He's going to have another Wizards year where he just goes off and just is like one of the leading scorers in the NBA, but it's not going to translate to wins. You have Rui Hachimura over there. You're hoping Johnny Davis can evolve quickly. He's more kind of a win now. I liked him from Wisconsin, but I'd compare them to who's a team in the West. I'd say they're kind of like they're kind of like the Kings. They're like the Kings. They're like so in the middle, and they're not going to win games, but their team is not tank worthy yet. And then I got the Knicks at 10. I think the Knicks are getting more hate than they deserve. The Knicks have a nice big three of Brunson, R.J. Barrett, and Julius Randle. Those guys all could score 20 plus. I like Jalen Brunson. He's a New York kid, and he's a good point guard. He could score in the post. He could score from mid-range. He could shoot the lights out. He can get to the basket. He's a big guard. He really throws his weight around. I think he's a great guy to watch. And if I was a young point guard, I'd watch Jalen Brunson. He can get a bucket however he wants, and I really like him. It's a great floater package. Offensively, Jalen Brunson is very good, and so is R.J. Barrett. 6'9", 6'8" wing, very athletic. Can shoot it. Can get to the basket. He can pull up. R.J. Barrett's your guy of the future. You just signed him to a nice big deal. He's 23. I'm from New York. I'm not from New York. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm a New York guy. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a Yankees fan. And I'm a LeBron fan, so that's why I root for the Lakers. But once LeBron retires, I'll be a Knicks fan. And I root for the Knicks. And honestly, like if the Knicks are in the playoffs, I'm rooting for the Knicks. I love the Knicks. And, I wish nothing for the best for them. So they're going to be the 10th seed. They're going to make the play-in, but they're not there yet. At number 9, I have the Chicago Bulls. They're going to fall short. Chicago Bulls are another team it's very solid. And you got Lonzo, and you got your nice star-studded duo of Levine and DeMar DeRozan, and Patrick Williams is a guy you hope to take a leap this year, who I believe can. Vucevic is what kills me, though. He's one of the worst defensive centers in the league, and he gets exposed he got exposed. He cannot guard. He gets worse every year. He's not the third guy. Like he's not like a third dude. And Lonzo is the guy you hope to be your third guy at the point guard spot, but his issue is injury. He's never on the court. And when he is on the court, the Bulls are good, but Lonzo's never on the court. He's a very great defensive point guard. He can play make. I love Lonzo, but he's never on the court, and you hope to get him on the court. Same thing with Caruso. He's great spark ball off the bench, but that's not what's going to separate you from a good team and a great team is Caruso. And DeMar DeRozan is not. I think he's not going to have the year he had last year. I think he's going to slow down a bit, and Levine's still going to be good, but you're just there's nothing about the Bulls that separates them from a good and great team. Barnes, rookie of the year last year, who's only going to get better. He's going to improve, and he's going to become like the focal point of your team. He's defensively, he impacts winning, and they got a lot of guys impact winning. Pascal Siakam deserves his flowers. He's another guy that's so underrated, and it's still his team in my opinion. He's the best player, and you got VanVleet as well. Pascal and VanVleet. VanVleet was all-star last year. Pascal could easily be one. He's been an all-star before. You got that duo still. VanVleet is still like, in his prime. So he's going to only continue to score the ball efficiently. Pascal Siakam is that guy. You give him the ball, he's going to be scoring 30 a night. When he feels like it, when he gets to the playoffs, he's going to be your guy. He's only getting better. And now you have Scotty Barnes, who's one of the most promising young players in the league, rookie of the year last year. And you got Precious Achua, you got Boucher, you got done. They're gritty. I like the Raptors, and they're going to be in the playoffs again like they were last year. And they don't have the most talent, but they're good. They make work with what they do, with what they have. Excuse me. And at number 7, I got the Heat, a team that's going to take a big slide down for me. I think Jimmy Butler slows down a bit. He doesn't have the season he had last year, and he continues to, as he ages, he's not going to have as great of years. He's still going to be good in the playoffs because he's Jimmy Butler. And Bam's going to be, he's going to be Bam. Jimmy Butler and Bam is still going to be a good duo. But Bam is just kind of going to be, he's not like a second guy. It's not like he's going to, I don't see him taking a big leap and becoming some stud. I don't. I think Bam is going to continue to be who he is. And the one piece of hope that I have for them is Tyler Hero, who I think, he didn't add him or anything. They just gave him a big deal. And I think he's going to take a leap. I think, he's going to prove that he's going to get to the point where he's too good to come off the bench. Like, he's going to, they're going to start with him off the bench, but he's going to be he's going to be scoring the ball way too well to have him on the bench. Like, you're going to have to start him. He's going to honestly maybe become your right there with Jimmy. He's going to be scoring a lot of points. And obviously he's not very good defensively, but he's going to be scoring the ball a lot this year. I like him to take a leap, but if you just look at the East, every team got better except them. The only thing, they didn't get better at all. All they did was lose PJ Tucker. That's all they did. They didn't add anyone. And they drafted Jovic, who's not going to probably won't even play for them. So they didn't get better at all. So every team got better and they didn't. And I just don't really think the Heat, the Heat have winning culture. They got another guy who's probably in contention for best coach in the league. But I think there's a fall off for them. There's a fall off. So 7 might be a little harsh, but that's just what I see from the Heat. At number 6, I have the Nets, who, if they all play and if we're being real, the Nets probably very well could be the best team in the East. And that's why I don't understand, like, Kyrie and KD, these guys all went out. Like, looking at the Nets roster, they very well might be the best team in the league. Like, you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie, 2 of the best scorers in the NBA history, and both when they're playing, we can both agree when they're playing, they're 2 of the best players in this league. Those guys are unstoppable. Now you have Ben Simmons, who love or hate him. Yeah, he's not going to score, and he's so scared to score. He still is. But he's still going to bring defensively. The guy has a fouling out problem. Like, Ben Simmons he's a project. He's still a project. He hasn't played in a long time, and it's clear. But he's still going to bring a defensive effect that you can't find anywhere else in the league. So I love, like, what Ben Simmons brings to that Nets defense. That's pretty slow. And you've got Patty Mills, Claxton, Joe Harris, all those shooters. Offensively, the Nets are still one of the best in the league. And my issue with them is that they just take games off. Besides Ben Simmons, they don't have anyone really defensively. And they just don't win. They don't get the job of the season. They're kind of like how the Clippers were a couple of years ago. They just get by. They sneak into the playoffs, and you just hope that they wake up. But they don't get it done in the regular season. They don't win games. They kind of take games off. KD's always hurt. Kyrie's hurt. Ben Simmons is, he's not going to bring much to the table offensively. And I think these other teams are going to win more regular season games than the Nets. But although I think the Nets are better than the 4 seed and the 5 seed, but they're not going to win most regular season games. And at 5, I have the Hawks, who everyone's kind of doubting, and I think the Hawks should be really good. I love Atlanta, and Trae Young is going to take that leap. He led the league in total points and total assists last year. He's going to cement himself as probably top 3-point guard. He's going to be unstoppable because now you have DeJounte Murray, who paired with him, who was an all-star last year. He can give you 20, and he's one of the most versatile defensive wings in the NBA. Shooting guard, he can guard any position, which is going to take a lot of weight off Trae Young because now he can guard the opponent's best guard, where Trae Young couldn't. Now DeJounte is going to take that load off of him, and he's another guy that can handle the ball, who's going to take a load off Trae Young. Trae Young's not going to need to have the ball in his hands at all times because DeJounte can handle it, and he can go out there and get a bucket. So he just meshes perfectly with Trae. DeJounte is going to just shine in this offense, and John Collins is looking great to start the season when he's played. He's another guy that when he's involved, he can seriously impact the game offensively. He's very athletic. Clint Capella is a defensive center. He's a defensive force for them. He anchors it down in the paint. And what I love with their X factors, they're DeAndre Hunter as their center. I love DeAndre Hunter. I think he's going to take a leap this year. They drafted him number 4 in 2019 for a reason. Bro could score from the mid-range. He's a knockdown shooter. He's like 6'8". He's very athletic. He could defend any wing. And I think he's going to take a leap. And people are going to remember his name after this year. I love him. And you lose Herder, but you still got Bogdanovich on the bench. You got the big that they took in the recent draft. Um, forgot his name. The Hawks are deep. They're going to be good as long as they don't get hurt. And at 4, I got the Cavs, who's right there with the Hawks. They're going to be back and forth. Cavs, I think, they put on a clinic on how to rebuild your team. You got Garland and Donovan Mitchell as your 1 and 2 all-star caliber guards. Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, is top 4 shooting guard. He's going to really turn heads this year and cement himself as one of the best. Darius Garland as well, just one of the best crafty scorers in this league. Those two are going to be all-stars. You have 4 potential all-stars on this team. That's an all-star backcourt, but maybe one of the best in the league. And you pair that with one of the best, maybe the best, probably the best defensive front court in the league. Mobley, who was runner-up for Rookie of the Year and had an amazing Rookie of the Year rookie season, is going to be one of the best centers in the league for years to come. Paired with Jared Allen, who legitimately was an all-star last year. That is a ridiculous defensive front court. And then at small forward, you have, you can go with your experienced veteran and Kevin Love, who was very solid for them last year, and I credit him for turning his career around. Or you can run with who's the young small forward that they just recently drafted, who I really like. Excuse me. Let me take a look. You can run with. Where's bro? Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro at the 3, who's also very, very talented. He's kind of raw prospect who's only going to take leaps. And then off the bench, you got guys like LeVert. You got guys like Robin Lopez. Kevin Love can come off the bench for you. Either one of those. You got Ricky Rubio, veteran. They are all around. I love the Cavs. And I love them to make regular season wins. And in the top 3, I have the same top 3 that most people have. I got Sixers at 3, Celtics at 2, and Bucks at 1. Bucks are the best team in the East still. They had the best big 3 in the league. They had the best player in the league. They're championship pedigree. They're all around sound. They kept all their guys, Connaughton, Portis, all those dudes. They got the best player in the league. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They have the best big 3. They still got Robin Lopez. They're just the Bucks are the best team in the East still to me, and that's not changing. And at 2 and 3 of the Celtics, who are right there with them. Brogdon's going to make a big impact off rip. The coaching thing is going to be a problem for them, but it's not going to drop them to the number 5 seed. They're going to still be top 3. They're going to be number 2. Jason Tatum is going to be top 5 in MVP voting. He's going to be right there. He's cementing himself as probably top 10 in this league. Jaylen Brown, Brogdon, Smart, all those guys over there. Robert Williams, whose injury is a little shaky, and that defense is still going to be great though, and they're going to be number 2. And the Celtics aren't going anywhere. And them versus the Bucks is going to be a battle. At 3, I have the Sixers. James Harden's going to return to form. I have extreme faith in that. Most improved player this year, Tyrese Maxey. I would lock that up. Lock that up. It's going to be Tyrese Maxey. He is great. He's going to get better. He gets better every year. He's going to be a serious number 3. That big 3 is going to compete with all the Bucks big 3, with the Celtics big 3, with the Warriors big 3. That big 3 is elite. Joel Embiid, he's been number 2 for MVP the last 2 years. The second best center, in my opinion, top 10 player in the league, maybe even top 5, paired with James Harden, who's going to go back to form, who I think will return to form. And you have Tyrese Maxey, and you have Tobias Harris as your 4th option with Thibault. I really like the Sixers are good. They're good. I have faith in the Sixers, even if they've gone off to a bit of a slow start at the time of recording this. That's not changing my opinion on them. I really like the Sixers. And yeah, those are my predictions, and I'm very excited for this league. There's so many things to cover, so much to talk about. I can't wait to talk about it more. And before we tune off, I'm just gonna throw out my finals prediction. This is my finals prediction. I think it's gonna be the Western Conference Finals is gonna be Clippers Warriors, and the Eastern Conference Finals is gonna be Bucks Sixers. Give me Sixers over the Celtics. Give me Bucks Sixers, Warriors Clippers, and give me. I want to do it. Give me Clippers Bucks finals, and the Clippers win it. That's my take. I think the Warriors are just going to fall short. Although, honestly, the Warriors, it could be Warriors, Bucks, Warriors in 4, and then that just boo-hoo. But yeah, and my MVP prediction for this year is Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic wins the MVP. I think it's about time, and he's, it's only a matter of time. And then right behind him is going to be Jokic, of course, Giannis, of course, and then I have Tatum. Those are going to be those. That's going to be the top 4. And sneaky. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have that kind of year. I think Donovan Mitchell and Trae Young are going to have kind of years, not just also years, MVP years. But come back to this later on. But we are at 40 minutes. That's plenty of time. I thank you for tuning in. We have so much to talk about, so much more to cover. This is only a smidgen of the NBA that I'm going to talk. I can't wait to go more in depth with NBA stuff. But season's right here. Go watch your favorite team. Go enjoy the season. Go enjoy the NBA. The NBA's heating up. We're in the middle of the season for the NFL. It's only heating up. Playoff implications are starting to come into effect. We're in the World Series is going on right now. The Phillies just won Game 1. So much going on in sports. So go kick it back. Enjoy your Halloween. Have a great Halloween weekend. Go out there, watch some sports with your boys. Have a good time. Listen to Double OT, and we're tuning off. We're back in regulation. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go have fun. It's a great time to be a sports fan. We're going to be pumping out content. So tune in. Look at our Instagram at Double OT, TikTok at Double OT, YouTube at Double OT. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon, and peace out. We'll be back in regulation in the next episode when paired back with John Roeder. Thank you, and have a great day.